The countdown continues. We are T minus 72 hours ish away from JB trip. Welcome to the 1 hour, 1 brain cell podcast. Full disclosure, Jordan was making fun of me literally right before I we hit record on the show because I was trying to do mental math in my head and I could not do it for the life of me because I was trying to figure out by the time y'all see this on Friday how many hours until from the Friday until JB trip, and I think I got it right, about 72. I don't really know. Is that
You're asking me? I don't know either. We're like the two of us. You're like, yeah, probably.
So close enough because I was like dead silent and I was looking up like this.
Yeah, like when you're taking a test and you're trying to like see the answer by staring at the ceiling. Yeah.
Yes, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
That's exactly what I was doing. So I got it close enough. So, so yes, JB trip is almost here. So we've been waiting months and months for this, as you know, and so it's going to happen shortly. Very, very excited about that, and can't wait. Jordan's bringing along her camera she found in her parents' basement. That's from like 2004. So you'll bring that on the trip, and maybe we'll have a new intro to the show.
Yeah, if you've
for season two. For season
right. 2. Whenever we decide to just cut season 1 randomly, because we have no prescribed number of episodes. But yeah, if you've seen our intro, the low quality digital camera footage was all shot on my my little blue Sony that I found at my parents' house that still has like an SD card. I have to get an adapter for that now. But anyway.
I am joined, of course, today by my co-host Jordan, who is currently creating what I believe to be a voodoo doll of Alvin Kamara before the show.
Yeah, it is. Things are looking dire for my fantasy football squad this week. It's rough out here, so send prayers. I'm down AJ Brown. I'm down Puka Nacua. I have the 49ers. Nothing's happening. It's over for me. I'm joined today by a Rams fan, so his game doesn't happen until later today, but a man who is ready to spend an inordinate amount of money on concert merch, Richie Flores.
Very excited. It's been like they've been teasing it for like the last 2 months. So they've been slowly releasing bits and pieces of what they got. And yeah, I'm gonna be down with at least a t-shirt, if not, and hopefully a hat, because as you know, there's one thing, if there's one vice I have in this world, it is buying way too many hats. Way too many hats. I have like 3 dozen, and I buy them on a consistent basis all the time, and it's bad for my health. I bought one when I was last in Chicago back in July, and I was like, I need to stop this. This is way too expensive. But hopefully there's another. I already have one JB hat, so I think I need to add another one to my collection if they have one, and I'm assuming they will.
I feel good about that. I feel good about your odds.
Manifesting having an outdoor merch tent.
Yes, absolutely. Because the GA folks, we want to buy merch too.
Well, yeah, not just GA barricade folks, because the GA folks, there's the people who get the people who get there later can go and buy their merch, but not for us. No. We have no time. We have a goal to get to and somewhere to be, ladies and gentlemen, and that is on the barricade.
We have places to be. It's to open.
Yes.
We have moshing to do. Let us buy our merch early.
Yes. I agree. I agree. So we're manifesting that because I think you're 100% right. Because if we try to go and buy it after the show, we're going to be at the second date. And if we've learned anything from Taylor Swift's merch, it's that you got, if you don't show up on time, you're screwed and you're shit out of luck because merch will fly off the shelves. It's the second date. So will they, I don't know what they're going to have in terms of sizes and whatnot. And so if you try, the later you go, the less chance there will be to have the correct size in. Now, I have one thing going for me, which it will be that I will be like probably it's an 800 capacity show. I'm putting the over under at dudes who show up at like 21 and a half, I think. So
Mhm. Yeah, the average height and gender of that pit will be sincerely in your favor. The rest of us are going to be running on extra larges, and you're going to be like, "Hey, choice of size."
exactly. I have a feeling they'll have a decent amount of larges left. I hope. I don't know. We'll see.
I think so.
We'll see. We'll see. I think we'll be good. So we'll see how that goes. Anyway, 21 and a half for dudes at the Julien Baker show. We'll see.
We'll count. We'll count. It'll be a actual Vegas odds.
Yes. All right. Well, welcome to the show, everybody. We're going to try and get under an hour for the third consecutive week. God bless our souls if we are able to do that and stop our yapping. We got a lot to get to this show, so let's kick it off. Let's kick it off with Baku, ladies and gentlemen. Formula 1 hour, Formula 1 brain cell. The question going into this race was literally the biggest question on everyone's mind. Had nothing to do with the race itself. It had everything to do with time zones. So, time zones here for these next two races, Baku and next week at wherever the hell they are. Where are they next week?
Singapore.
Singapore, thank you. Another track I hate.
Yeah.
So because of where they are, time zones are crap. And so Baku is at 4 o'clock in the morning here in Arizona. Next week's race is at 5 o'clock in the morning. So the biggest question going into the race was I going to wake up or not for the race? That was the biggest question. Did you think I was going to do it?
So I have a question in response to that because I know that we put a poll on the brand account.
Yes.
And I always, because we're a small show, ladies and gents, we don't get that much traction on the algorithm. So I always go and like interact with our stuff from my main account. And so I voted yes, you should wake up. But I'm interested to know if that only other second vote that was for no was from you.
No, actually it wasn't. I did not vote in the poll.
We did. We got somebody else that interacted with this because I was like, that would be the funniest thing known to man if like I voted yes and you voted no, and they were the only two people on that poll was ourselves.
No, it was somebody else who did that. So
there you go.
Yeah. So you voted yes. So I
voted yes. You should wake up. Yeah.
Yeah. So you had faith in me that I was going to do it.
Mm-hmm. And you did.
I did somehow, some way. I did. I will tell you. This is what happened in the events that led up to this. So, Friday night we went to Mellow, like my friends and I, for Mellow Fridays, as we always do. And so I didn't get home until like 12:30 or 1 o'clock. Didn't fall asleep until probably 2 or something like that. And then I had to be up at like 6 o'clock in the morning. I had to leave at 6 o'clock in the morning to make it to my actual job. So I did that. So I was up early, no sleep, like 2.5, 3 hours of sleep. And then I got home at like, I don't know, 3 on Saturday, and I was up for a while, and then I crashed for like, I don't know, 2.5 hours, maybe 3 hours. So I was out until like from like 3 o'clock to like 5:30. And
That's
so I
true.
was,
Because when you texted me, it was like 8:30 my time, and you were like, I got a nap in, and I was like working the time backwards. Like, wait a minute, it's kind of late, but okay. Go off, King.
Yes, I was very tired. So I got the nap in, I was refreshed. I was like, I can't sleep all the way through, and you know what I mean, or else I wasn't going to sleep at all. So I was like, okay, wake up, do some jumping jacks, get some energy going so you can get yourself back awake. And I did that, and ended up watching the rest of the Indiana Hoosiers ass whooping of the UCLA Bruins. Ended up watching the rest of that.
Our Rose Bowl. It's our Rose Bowl now.
Yes. Still the strangest thing that UCLA is in the Big Ten, but whatever. Anyway.
Yeah, I don't know.
Anyway, so I ended up going to sleep at like midnight-ish, like 11:53 or something. And I set my alarm for 4 a.m. I was like, all right, whatever. If I wake up, I wake up. If not, like I'll just like, whatever. And so I like alarm 4 o'clock hits. I have my laptop sitting next to me in my bed. So I like rolled over, got a nice stretch in to go and reach my laptop. I did not get out of bed. Absolutely freaking not. No. Did not do that. I just rolled over. Got that nice stretch in, and I grabbed my laptop with one hand, hoping to God I was not going to drop it on the ground. Okay. Mm-hmm. I cannot tell you how stressed out I was.
That's a balancing act. It's like when you try and reach your charger, but it's like hanging off the end of the bed. So you got to go like half. You have to go half body over the railing, like you're probably about to fall down. Well,
yes.
If this is it, I hope my downstairs neighbors don't make too much fun of me for the noise I make when I hit the ground.
So I grabbed the laptop, did not drop it, and I just I just set it beside me while I was like half asleep the entire race. And I did it. I made it through the entire race, and it was beautiful. And then I went back to sleep at 5:30, and I woke up again at 9 o'clock ish, and we're good to go. And now I'm buzzing. I got my coffee in me. Got the Rams and Cardinals game coming up in just a bit, which is happening literally right across the street from me. However, I cannot go to the game because I have an actual job to do, ladies and gentlemen. So I can't go to the game. So I'll be watching on TV like the rest of us. But anyway, that was the biggest story before the race, was whether or not I was going to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning for this thing. And damn it, I did. That's how dedicated I am to this podcast.
Was it worth your while?
Yeah, actually, it was a pretty good race. I
thought it was an entertaining race. Yeah.
Yeah. It was, it wasn't like I did that for, I don't know, whenever the hell Lando last one, he won by like 30 seconds or whatever. And I was like,
who cares?
That race was like, that one I was like, dozing off and didn't care. But this one was good. This was a great race for the most part. It was a three-way battle pretty much the entire second stint of the race. And it was great. And there was not a lot of like overtaking throughout the field or strategy or anything, but like everybody was in DRS in those top three, and it was good. There was an overtake for the lead too, right? When Oscar overtook Leclerc for the lead, which I did not see coming. That was wild. That was a great drive by Oscar.
It was
to win that race, because like the crazy thing is like he was up by Leclerc. He won the pole again because that's what he does at Baku, and then he botches it like he always does. But like he had a 6-second lead in that first stint. And you're like, okay, Leclerc's going to walk away with this, right? He's going to roll the field. And then somehow, and this was like never really explained why this managed to happen, but that 6-second gap after the pit stops happened was completely gone. And I don't really know why that happened. I couldn't figure out why he lost so much time under the stops to get Oscar to make up that 6 seconds. Because
I'm trying to figure it out too. Well, and Sainz was running in second or third at that point. Well, maybe did Oscar pit first? Because I remember there was an interchange.
Oscar did pit first, yeah.
Oscar, so it must have just been an undercut, because I remember Leclerc went in, and then there was like a 12-second gap to Sainz, and then they switched each other essentially. So Leclerc was still the de facto leader. They switched. Sainz came out behind Piastri and maybe behind fourth too, but it must have just been the undercut on getting the tires warmed up. And I don't know, there was some weird stuff happening with pit stops today, but
yeah. Anyway, so not shout out to McLaren because we didn't do that on this show, but they actually managed to get their shit together and put together a good strategy for this race.
They did. And I like Oscar's composure as a driver.
Yes.
He seems very composed. He's cool under pressure, and he makes the right decisions for the most part. It is a shame the team that he drives for, but he has 2 wins in like a year, which is cool for for him. And I don't know. This one was well deserved too. And I know we talked earlier in the season about that one that he sort of, it was maybe soured a little bit because of the team orders between he and Norris wouldn't give the position back. And this one was a well-earned win, so he can feel good about that.
I tweeted this out earlier this morning too, which is, I truly believe this. I don't know if you agree with me. I think Oscar Piastri, number one, is the better driver than Lando. And I think he's also, like you just mentioned, he is more mature, and he's got a more level head when he's driving that car as opposed to Lando.
I agree. And
you need that to be a world champion.
Right. You do. Some of it is the car you're in for sure. And the McLaren right now looks like a rocket ship for a number of reasons, not all of which may be illegal. But he's in a good car and he's driving calm and collected right now. So it's, they're stacking purple sectors in a figure of speech with that combination. So.
And yeah, the other thing that was funny about this race too is McLaren all week was like, okay, papaya rules are out the window. Lando's our number one driver. We're going to do everything we can to get him the world championship. And then they and then they go and botch. I was not awake for Q1, so you saw this happen. I didn't. I don't know exactly what happened.
I could explain it. So he finished. So he qualified P17. Give it up for P17, Lando fans. Well done. In that car, God forbid, right? You should be finishing faster than that. So you know this, but teams, when they go out for qualifying, the track evolves. And so it kind of rubbers in. And this track in particular was showing a lot of evolution, like 4, 5, 6 tenths of a second. So people were waiting as late as they possibly could to go out for their last qualifying lap of each session. The issue was we also had a lot of red flags and yellow flags in the free practices. So that's the gamble you take, right? If you go out last, you may have the best track evolution and the least tire degradation, but if somebody yellows or red flags the session, or you can't cross the line in enough time to get the lap in, it doesn't count. So you have to weigh those options. And they sent Lando out really late, and he was good through like probably the first 2 sectors, had a little mistake in the 3rd sector, ran real wide on a corner and ran up over the curb. So he lost a little time there. And then as he was finishing the lap, so he was getting into those 2, the ones, because we've driven this track, but the 2 sort of left-handers like downhill and then into that long winding start-finish straight. They had Ocon was driving through there and driving a little slowly, trying to step out of the way of some other cars that were on flyers. And they waved a yellow because of how slowly he was going. So Lando had to lift off, so they say. And so that was it for his lap time, because that's what happens. But either way, P17, and then he ended up starting like P15 because you had some folks in the pit lane, folks taking extra components, whatever it may be, before the race. So it is what it is. But
yeah, exactly. So that entire shenanigans led to the situation wherein Oscar Piastri wins the race when McLaren, when it comes out and states that Lando is their number one driver, which is really, really hilarious to me.
Yeah, what are you going to do for team orders between P2 and P17? Nothing. Not a thing.
Right.
Yeah.
The other big storyline in this race was the big wreck we had happen down the stretch of this race, which completely messed up the entire podium for this race. Checo on Mexican Independence Day weekend has a great qualifying session, out qualifies Max.
The best drive of the season for Checo so far.
Yes.
Like the best drive of the season, and was going so well, keeping pace with the top 3 the entire time. He loves this track, but keeping pace with the top 3 the entire time in a car that is dog water right now. The RB20 is a tractor. The RB20 ruined my life, but he was keeping up with the Ferrari and the McLaren and doing a really, really good job. And then people get a little antsy on the last lap. And I think you should feel vindicated having watched that crash, because when you and I raced together on Hossie campaign, at least you never did that to somebody when you crashed. Like, that was worse than
Yes.
anything you've done in a video game.
That's true. It's very well known. I'm a terrible driver in the F1 video games. But yeah, it's true. I never did that, which is literally come across somebody who held their line, um, and completely wreck each other's races. But we've seen enough video evidence now that I think we can state, first of all, the FIA looked at this and said it was just a racing incident and there's not going to be any penalties, which is insane to me.
Yeah, the
But
FIA has also looked at all the wings and said that they're fine.
right.
Okay.
That's a whole other issue.
Okay.
But yeah, even watching it live and then seeing all the replays, it looked like that's first of all, Baku, very narrow street circuit. So it's really hard to go race too wide, right? And so, like, in this particular incident, Carlos Sainz tried to go side by side with Leclerc, and he lost momentum to allow Checo to kind of go through. And then Checo completely held his line. If you go and look at the in-car camera, he's not moving his steering wheel whatsoever, like at all.
The thing too is that with the overhead shots, because it's a street circuit, you can see the lines on the road. So there's a visual representation of how much space they're leaving each other. I don't see an angle where this isn't Sainz drifting across the track.
I tend to agree. That's exactly what happened. And it looked to me like at that part of the track where it was narrowing up just a tad, and so he was trying to move to his left to try and get a little bit more space, and the space just wasn't there. I don't know if he didn't know Checo was right there beside him, which I feel like is completely impossible.
Yeah, I mean, you have your mirrors full of a giant Formula One car. You probably know that and you know that he's there because you passed him in like the previous corner and a half. You passed that car, and you have to assume that he's either alongside or right behind you.
So yeah, I mean, the only real answer to like doing that was for Sainz to lift going into that other corner and let Checo have the position. And I think I sent you, I don't know if you had a chance to watch it before we started recording, but the Julian Palmer analysis, and his argument was, he was like, okay, well, it looks like Sainz was drifting to the left, but Checo had so much room to the left that he should have gone to the left as well.
I do agree with that, and I think that's the main reason why the ruling was what it was, because we saw this, I don't know, a couple of races ago with a Lewis and Max incident, is that there's also the responsibility of the driver that's getting squeezed to try and avoid the collision. Checo had a little extra room on the left, but Sainz was drifting over. So if both of them sort of were in the wrong there. And what it looked like at full speed is that Sainz literally just took an angle straight across him. That's not really what happened. He did drift into him, but then they touched wheels. So Checo's right front locked in with Sainz's rear left, and that's what caused the really severe tilt for the Ferrari and forced him into the barrier at that angle. I mean, realistically, any other time, if they don't lock wheels, they just bump into each other, and maybe they get a puncture, maybe they get some side pod damage, but they don't destroy each other.
Early in the race, right, between Yuki and
Lance
Stroll. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they touch each other, and sometimes that happens, and sometimes nobody walks away with damage from that. But it really looked like they shunted hard into that wall. And looking at it in slow motion, that's not exactly what happened. Being a driver at 200 kilometers an hour is a completely different experience. So it is what it is.
Exactly.
But I feel for Checo. He deserves better.
We both voted for Checo for driver of the day.
At least it wasn't Lando.
Yes, exactly. I think Oscar ended up winning it, but
he did. Yeah. Listen, Lando in the post race today gave me the same vibe as the kid that like raises his hand and reminds the teacher that they had homework due and asks if they're going to collect it. You know what I mean? It's like, Like they forget that you had an assignment. And he's like, "Are you going to collect that assignment that's due?" You're like, "Shut up." Snitching on the radio. That little
Hmm.
orange car. Go away.
Lando managed to finish fourth in this race, which is wild considering where he started from.
Can we talk about third place?
Yes, go ahead. Yes.
What the hell is a polar bear doing in Arlington, Texas? How did George Russell end up on the podium here?
I asked you the same question, dude. I was like, I was so caught up in the wreck that I didn't know what happened, like who was where. And so
Yeah.
I texted you, and when they were doing the post race introducing George walks up for third place, and I was like, George Russell, WTF?
I was like, how did he get here? And I'm not sure he even knows how he got there. But like it was funny because there was an interview earlier this week and he's like, well, if 1 through 4 crash, then like we win. You're like, George, what the heck? What do you mean 1 through 4 crash? And then 3 and 4 crash. So what are you gonna do about it? George Russell, can you manifest something happening to that orange number 4 car for next week, please?
Yes.
Or Alvin Kamara, please, because I just checked and he has like 33 points right now.
Oh, scored even more. A couple more things to mention from this race.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, Franco Colapinto getting his
Yes.
first points as an F1 driver in his second career race for Williams, finishing 8th, which was like good for him. That's pretty cool. Albeit that should be Logan Sargent there.
I was
I don't
gonna
know what
say,
this
I
says.
wish it was Logan.
Know what this says about Logan Sargent that Franco has come out in his first 2 races and like crushed it in that car, where Logan literally had to like fight for his life to finish P15. Franco's just like la di da P12 and P8.
Franco's like, okay, I drive the car, and I don't know. The worst part too is like, I kind of like the kid. I think he's fun, and they're gonna, introduce him to Franco for the back half of the season, and then be like, "Oops, sorry, bye, Alex and Carlos Sainz." We're like,
Mm-hmm.
"What do you mean? We
Right.
just got attached to this one."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I agree. I agree. And then we also got P10 Oliver Bearman, our boy, our large adult son,
the
our
bear,
Ollie Bear.
the fastest
P10
bear on track.
Hossie and Bio, we're back,
Aussie in
baby.
bio, and Oliver Bearman, I think, is the first. I don't remember exactly what the stat
Yeah,
line is whether
I know.
he's the
I know where you're
first
going.
to
Yeah, he's the
go,
first driver
if you know.
ever to get points in his first career 2 races for 2 different teams.
I couldn't remember if the
Yeah.
both teams thing was included or not, but Ollie is still kind of up there in the drivers' championship standings. Let me see where he is right now. But he was hanging in there for a minute. Ollie is 16th. He has 7 total points.
So he's got. Do you have it pulled up? I have it too.
Yeah.
But can we just go through and mention all the drivers he has more points than?
Yes, of course. He has more points than the driver who he replaced this weekend, Kevin Magnussen. More points than Esteban Ocon. More points than Franco Colapinto, which, okay. Franco has 4, which is great. Zhou Guanyu is 20th with 0. Logan Sargent, RIP, is 21st with 0. And Valtteri Bottas is last with 0. I guess tied for
And
last, but
and Oliver Bearman's only raced in 2 races.
2 races. And he is 16th. And he's only 1 point behind Pierre Gasly for 15th.
That's incredible, man. I can't wait to see Ollie in the Haas next year. I think he's going to do great. I really
That's
do.
going to be exciting. I
Mhm.
don't know what that driver pairing is going to be like, but I wish him good things.
Me too. Me too. I'm excited for the grid next year. There's going to be some fun drivers on the grid next year. We got
Mhm.
Ollie coming in. Um, we got his bestie from the F2 days. We got Kimi Antonelli coming in. So we'll see how he does with Mercedes. And Liam Lawson is likely to come in. I think next year. I think I'm guessing he'll get a seat somewhere. I think we only have 2 seats left for next year. I think it's just RB has the seat, and then the others, and then Kick Sauber. I
Sauber,
think
yeah.
still has 1 seat to go.
Mhm.
So
And unfortunately, it's looking like that may not be Valtteri next season. So we'll see.
Yeah, he mentioned this week that he really wants to race in F1, but if not, his backup plan is IndyCar. So come on down, Valtteri. Come on down to IndyCar. We'd love to have you. We'd love to have you.
He would be such a fun personality in
Exactly.
IndyCar.
Here's my question for you: would you pay more attention to IndyCar next year if Logan Sargent and Valtteri Bottas both get on the grid for next year?
Yeah, I'm starting to pay a little more attention to it now than I did. So I'm just sort of like acquiring one new motorsports thing a year. So maybe it's that.
All right. I do want to mention one more thing before we move on here, which is two more things actually. Number one, McLaren is now leading the team or the constructors championship. Whatever. And the drivers championship is now down to, okay, here we go. Math on the timeline. Okay, here we go. That's 46 plus 13. What is 46
59.
plus 13? 59 points is the lead for the championship with 7
Because I've done the math.
Yes.
There's 7 races. So this is not including the sprint races because I think we have 3 sprint races left. But in total, over the next 7 race weekends, Norris needs to outscore Verstappen by 8.5 points in total over the weekend in those next 7 races in order for him to win by 1 point. So whether that's 8 points in the sprint race and 1 point in the regular race, like that's the same, or on a regular race weekend, it would have to be a 9-point gap or, whatever it may be. But mathematically, what happened today wasn't the worst thing in the world because it was only a 3-point differential. So it is what it is. And Red Bull seem really optimistic about the upgrades that they're bringing to COTA, but it's worth mentioning that that's a sprint weekend, so you only have 1 practice session to get it dialed in.
Right.
As we've seen, Red Bull's been just okay at practice sessions, and God forbid, can you all stop making changes to the car after free practice and before qualifying? Because the last times you've done that, Max has hated what you've done with the car. And it's just made it worse. Like, stop touching things. It's like what Mercedes was doing earlier this season with Lewis. He's like, well, I made a couple changes. You're like, stop touching it.
Right.
Stop it. Enough. Take the wheel guns away. That's enough.
Right. Yeah, right now we're headed straight towards another championship race, which is it's going to come down to that last race of the season. And whoever finishes ahead of one another is going to win the championship. Welcome back, 2021 season.
Welcome back, Abu Dhabi 2021. I can't go through that. I can't go through that again.
T-O-T-O.
No, Michael, no. It was so not right. God bless Toto. I do like
it's a
him.
motor
He's
race,
fun
Toto.
Personality. They had Toto on the interviews before the race today, right at the end of the grid walk. And he was really sweet. He was like, it's very loud, obviously, that all the cars are firing up and they're getting ready to go down there. And they had the Sky Sports interviewers, like they had Bernie down there and she was asking him questions. And he's tall, so he's leaning down to try and hear her. And he's like, I didn't understand the question, but I'm going to try and answer it anyway. Like, you go, Toto.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that has been Formula 1 Hour, Formula 1 Brain Cell. Let's
go.
move on.
Yep.
We started the show with music and Julien Baker. Let's come back to a little bit of music here and some thoughts on one of our favorite bands, Coin. They released their new record this week. I'm Not Afraid of Music Anymore. We're only a couple days into this, so even I haven't like super deep dived into it as much as I've really wanted to. But so we'll give some quick thoughts on the new Coin record. I like it better than you do. I think I will say that so far.
That's probably true. Yeah.
What were your initial thoughts so far?
So I think you and I were in the same boat where like everything that they released as a single before the album was really, really good. And I still agree with that those are some of the tracks that I've picked off of there is really liking. But I don't know if it's just this album in particular or whether it's sort of just the trend in music at the moment, but we saw Sabrina Carpenter do it really well with her album, where she did a little genre exploring and did a
Right.
little experimentation. And we've seen it with the other Coin albums in the past too, is that sonically there's a lot of variation across the album. This one didn't feel like that. A lot of it kind of sounded the same to me. It was, I don't know, it just fell a little flat of what I was expecting. And they're all perfectly fine. It's not like any of them are bad songs, but it's a little harder to differentiate the highs and lows of the album, I think, when a lot of it sonically has the same blueprint and kind of the same, I don't know, fingerprint for lack of a better word, of how that goes. So it'll grow on me. Albums always do. But I don't know. I give it like a solid 6.5, maybe a 7 right now. It's not my favorite Coin album, and it probably won't
Right.
be.
Right.
But it's a good enough release, and it'll blend well with some of their other stuff. When we talk about getting to a live show or getting to a concert, it's going to be pretty easy to throw that in with cuts from other records and make a good set list. So that matters
Yes.
too.
Yes. That's the one thing I think that I took away from this record is, and they've talked about kind of along the whole process about how this album is kind of a combination of them kind of coming out of their last tour and just kind of being lost in lost in terms of where they really wanted to go, you know, et cetera, trying to figure themselves out. And this record is them kind of looking back on where they have been in order to figure out what's next for them. I think that's kind of the idea behind this whole record, and that's exactly what it is. Because if you go and read the lyrics, there is so many instances on this album. I think on every single song, almost they self-reference either uh, other lyrics to past songs or names of songs in their past, and I thought that was really interesting and really cool, um, as in terms of a theme throughout the record. And so, again, I think I've only really listened to this once all the way through, and then I've kind of bounced around listening to a couple different tracks here and there. But like, I actually like this record. I think it's cool. I think it's cool. It's a lot different from their previous releases. It's a little bit more like not as many like super like pop bangers that I would have expected from them, and that's okay. So it's a little bit more kind of stripped back almost in a way. I don't to use that like a little bit slower tempo songs kind of in a way, and I kind of like that. So like it's one of those albums that you can like listen, like I think it would be a good like driving around album. Like that'll happen to me all the time because anytime I'm working late because I'm a singer, I will throw on music that's just like like I listen to Julien Baker all the time, like when I'm driving home from work late. Um, and then same, I can see that with this album too, where it's just like you can just put it on, and it's like the vibes are chill and that type of thing. So, as far as like songs that stick out to me, I'm still not ready to pick that out yet. Again, um, Take It or Leave It and Strawberry Jam were like the two single releases, and the songs are great and they're so much fun.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm still like trying to figure out which of these lyrics or these songs that I actually like will go back and listen to um more often than not. But yeah, I liked it. You gave your 6.5. I'll give it like a 7.5 for me, I think.
Sure.
7.5.
And I respect it because it does it does speak to sort of, like you said, the story that they're telling about how they weren't sure directionally of where they wanted to go next or what was next for them. It takes a lot of courage to write and record and produce an album, and it doesn't need to be perfect, and not everyone needs to love it. As long as you're happy with it and you're willing to put it out into the world, that's the artist's burden, right? Is that not everything is going to be an instant hit, but it should still be a body of work that you're proud of. And I think it's easy to like this album, even if it isn't necessarily going to go down in history as the most critically well received or popularly well received or what have you. But
Right, right. You're gonna see them on tour coming up here in a couple weeks, right?
yeah, the 6th. So 2 days before my second Clancy tour show.
That's right. Jordan's in her going to concerts era. How's your
I am
pocketbook feeling about that?
not good, dude. I'm
The
keeping my
bottom line.
expenses and I'm yeah, it's not good. But look, I'll tell you, thank you, Caitlin Clark. I thought I would never say this, but thank you, Caitlin Clark, because I sold the ticket to the Fever game today because I didn't want to go.
Mhm.
The free Grace Burger. I didn't want to go.
Yes.
And it sold for like $115 or something just for this game for one seat. So I'm able to eat again securely this month. So well done, thank you.
You were the living embodiment of the get paid bi-weekly meme.
Yeah, ice
You were
soup.
you, you were
Sell
working on
Caitlin Clark ticket. Week 2 ice soup.
They've been playing really well lately for what it's worth. They've
They
been
have.
buzzing lately.
They have.
Um,
I'll be excited to keep track of that through the playoffs and just see what'll happen. Might surprise some teams.
I watched both of their games against the Aces for the most part,
Hmm.
and they hung around, man. They played really well against the Las Vegas Aces, a team who beat them by like 30 points consistently,
Yeah.
even earlier this year. And they hung
Yep.
around and they gave them a game both times, and it was really close. And um, I did think it's funny. I think Christy Sides won like Coach of the Month or something recently. And I was just like, oh come on, man.
She did. She did. And I had people close to me who know our stance on Christy
Hmm.
Sides. They were like, "What is this?" It's like, don't let that distract you. we must remain strong on our quest to get her replaced by somebody more adequate, but that's okay.
Yes, I agree. I'm going to equate it to this might maybe a little bit too niche for a lot of the folks out there, but Michael Jordan, he comes in the league, he gets in the playoffs for a couple years, but he's just not able to get over the hump and win in the playoffs and become the Michael Jordan we all know now. And so
Right.
they fired their coach, Doug Collins, in 1990 or whatever, and then they bring in this other coach who um, had coached some like lower level leagues around the world, etc., etc. Been an assistant coach, won a world championship with the New York Knicks as a player. His name was Phil Jackson. They bring in Phil Jackson, and then whoop,
Who? Just kidding.
yeah, 6 championships. So I'm
Hmm.
just saying, maybe the Fever need their Phil Jackson.
Maybe,
Whoever that
yeah,
may be.
maybe they do. Maybe they do. Who knows?
Did I sent you the TikTok, right, where it's the girl who was like third hand information? Like I knew a guy who knows a guy who knows the girl who saw something happen.
Yeah, it was like everybody's trying to be the inside informant on the happenings of the Indiana Fever coach search. And I just don't think any of this is real or exists, but okay. You know what I'm going to compare it to? This might also be niche for a lot of our listeners, but just not niche for us. But the Coyotes going from the 0809 Wayne Gretzky era into
Yes.
the 2010 and 2011 Dave Tippett era.
Yes. That's a good comparison too. Yes.
There you go. I had to Google it because I was like, was Gretzky really the coach up until 08? And he was. But that feels like a distant memory. So,
So long ago. We don't mention that. We don't hockey's dead to us. Okay. Moving on,
yep.
everybody. Um okay, so I texted you yesterday or the day before that, whenever it was, and I texted you a screenshot from a show I was watching. And I said, I finally started watching this show and I cracked up laughing at a particular line in the show. It took me forever to start watching the show. I've always wanted to watch it, but I have never gotten around to watching it because I don't have Hulu, so I couldn't watch it. However, Abbott Elementary is finally on HBO Max, so I was able to start watching it this week. And it's so good, man. It's such a ridiculously funny show. I love it.
It is. It's really funny. And it's a good sitcom in an era where we are needing good sitcoms. Like every character in that is funny and
Hmm.
it's so well led and there's such good development of everybody. Um and it's just funny. There's some real good one-liners in it. It's a
Yes.
well-written sitcom. I think it's also on Disney Plus. So like there's a lot of
Mm.
ways to watch it now. If you are behind on Abbott Elementary, get into it.
Yeah, I finished season 1, I think, last night, so I'm on season 2 now. The good thing about sitcoms is they're only 30 minutes, so you can just, like, blow through blow through them super, super quick.
Yeah,
But it's
that was me on Friday. I'm rewatching Only Murders in the Building
mm,
because I just stopped on like season 2 of it, I think. And I'm rewatching it because again, they're like 30-minute episodes, and I got through like 3/4 of a season on Friday. It's like it is what it is.
yeah, I thing I love about this show is, like, it's like you said, every character is, like, so different and so fun, and it's, like and and they actually, like you said, they progress everybody, like, really well, and so everybody's on their own, like, story arc and everything, and the type of humor is, like this is the type of humor that's, like, straight up our alley, like, it's just it's, like, it's so silly, and it's so good. I love my favorite character is Mr. Hill. I love Mr. Hill.
He is funny. I like him.
Um,
Jacob is really funny. I think I relate most deeply maybe to I don't know, maybe Janine, maybe Melissa, because I'm just kind of over it at all times. But she's like, I don't know. She's got the power. I think Miss Howard is funny.
mhm.
I think you've probably seen this episode because you're through the first season, but it's the one where she's confusing all of the famous black people with other white people with similar names.
I don't think I've gotten to
Um,
that one yet, but I've seen the scene
it's
on, like, TikTok and
it's
stuff, yeah.
so funny. It's but it's like somebody this I don't know past week and a half or something because we lost James Earl Jones. Um, but somebody tweeted and they were like somewhere Miss Howard just made a memorial post for Tommy Lee Jones.
That's so good.
It's pretty funny.
Um, it's funny, as I was watching the show, I kept thinking to myself, like, um, if I were a history teacher, I would be Mr. Hill, 100%. I kept thinking that 'cause it's that's who
I could see you doing that, and I could see you doing the oh what do they call it? It's like the story ninjas or something. I don't know if you're there yet. Let me know when you get there. But
I
it's
don't
like
think
the
so.
assembly or whatever, and they're like it's like an improv troupe, and he used to be with that improv troupe, but they like make a big story out of all the suggestions of people from the audience, and it's a whole thing. I was like, I could see you doing the ninjas. I forget what it's called, something like that though. Ooh,
He also
somebody
had a
just
great
got a
lot.
touchdown pass. I just got 2
Ooh,
touchdowns within, like, 30 seconds. It's not gonna save
oh,
me, but it
let's
happened.
go. Let's go. There was a line in the episode I was watching last night where I think this is the first episode of the second season, and it's Mr. Hill, the janitor, and Miss Shimenti are playing poker. And it's
Yeah.
and he just he like sharks them all out of their money, which is really was so good. And the particular line that cracked me up was, "Oh yeah, all we did when I was off teaching kids is play poker and have sex." And I was like, "Oh my god,
I love the bit
zinger!"
where, he gets back from teaching abroad. I don't know where it is, but it's, like, somewhere in Africa or something, and, he's like, "Yeah, they called me, El Diablo Blanco."
That was the episode last night too.
That's a winner.
This was also the episode where Gritty shows up randomly, which was made me
Oh,
laugh.
yeah, because they booked Gritty for the wrong weekend, and, Mr. Eddie is afraid of Gritty. He, like, doesn't get
Yes.
it, and everybody else is like, "What do you mean you don't get it? It's Gritty." That's good.
Great show. Go watch it, everybody. It's terrific. The Emmys are also this weekend as we're recording, actually tonight. And I think
Yeah, really? Wow.
it's nominated for a bunch of Emmys and probably going to win a bunch too.
It should.
Uh, us. Okay, we have 10 minutes left in the show, so we can go through this super quick. There's one thing I wanted to bring up this TikTok trend real quick because I'm obsessed with it and I think it's really hilarious, which is the upside down TikTok trend. I've sent you a couple
Yeah.
of these and I think they're hilarious. Let's see. I'm gonna bring one up here because Dancing with the Stars is happening soon, and so
We have
we
some
have a couple
Olympians
of
on this
Olympic.
season.
We have
Yep.
some Olympians. Yes, we have. Here's this is on Palma Horse King. Oh, look at her go! Look at that, yeah, girl. Oh, little Jack
I'll be
Johnson
honest,
action.
about halfway through, I didn't think she was gonna make it. I thought they were both going down.
And then I have and there's another one too that was Alona Mar, who is also on this season as well. Let's bring this one up here. Okay, here we go. There. Oh, that's not the right button. Bear with me, ladies and gentlemen. This is technology at its finest. Here we go. Got to press that button right there. There's that one. There we go. Hello, hello. Did I get it
Stage
right?
managing. Yep.
There it is.
And go 3. Yep.
Here is our Alona Mar version.
Oh God.
Look at that. Oh, look at that.
That was smooth. Yep.
Oh.
Yeah, I saw a lady do this with her like fully grown 80-pound golden retriever too, and the dog was just so confused at being upside down for any period of time. He's like, I don't know, I don't know how to react to this. I know my dog would never do it. I know Nala
Right.
would never settle for that. She hates being picked up at all. Like it's like
Right.
air jail, you know, when you pick
Yeah.
a dog up, it's air jail. She would never stand for that.
I'm just trying to picture us trying to do this on JB trip and just completely failing because that's exactly what would happen. One of us would wind up
It
with
would
a
only work
concussion.
one direction too. Like I know myself. I'm not getting you off the ground. It's
No.
not happening.
No.
And I might take you down if we try to go that way. So let's well, maybe not. We're already not confident that we're gonna both make it out of that venue alive. So let's
Correct.
hedge our bets a little bit here and avoid the upside down bit.
All right. One last thing before we get out of here, because we have Agatha All Along is coming out this week. It's actually out by the time you see this episode. Are you
Yeah.
excited for Agatha All Along?
So excited. The cast is awesome. You and I both collectively loved WandaVision and loved Agatha in WandaVision. I have high hopes for this. I'm hoping I don't be let down. I'm hoping I won't be let down. That was not proper English. Marvel's TV has been a little bit on and off lately, but I think they can pull this off. They certainly have the cast to do it. So if they just lean in to the folks that they have on this cast, they should be okay. Just let them play to their strengths. You have a lot of talent there. You got Catherine Hahn, you got Aubrey Plaza, you have Patti LuPone, theater royalty Patti LuPone. I don't know if you saw it this week, but she did Hot Ones with Aubrey Plaza.
Yeah.
That was so funny. They are so funny together. And Patti LuPone is at the stage of her career where she won't take it from anybody. She's like, I know who I am and what I've earned and what I deserve, and I won't apologize. It's great.
Who was it that one of the bets was like apologize? Oh, it was like apologize to Madonna or eat a death wing. Yeah.
Yeah, it was like, you once called Madonna a movie ruiner. Look into the camera and apologize or eat a death wing. And she took like 2 giant bites out of the wing and then threw the rest of it. It's like, I stand by that. It was good.
I'm excited for the show. It should be good. I hope they just lean into the weirdness, man. Just go full ham. Make it. I hope they make it funny. Like that's the most thing I was looking forward to. Just like because Agatha was very much like a fourth wall breaking character, like towards the end of the show, in a way. And so just like make it funny, man. Make it funny. Don't be over serious for a show about a bunch of witches. You know, caught up in a hex.
I agree.
Made by another witch.
Right. Like if you start trying to get too into the weeds with making all the plot lines tie up neatly and like pushing different storylines and things, it's going to get out of hand real fast. Just roll with it. And I do seem to like that it appears that they're following sort of the same vein of WandaVision, where like there's going to be some different decades or different eras involved, because they've been releasing a lot of different posters for the show, and they're all slightly different variations. They're different spin-offs on other movies. Like they had one that was like very Rocky Horror Picture Show. We don't really know what direction it's going to take, but it seems like they're into a little bit of genre bending, which I think worked really well with WandaVision. So if we lean into that, then great. I'm all for it.
One other TV show is coming out this week that I doubt you're gonna watch, which is The Penguin. Are you gonna watch The Penguin show?
Like the Batman spinoff?
No, it's the one about like no. I'm just kidding. Yes, yes, the Batman spinoff.
I don't know. Probably not.
Yeah, you're not. You're not. I know you're not gonna watch it.
Probably
So
not. I just saw you rate the Batman 4.5 stars on Letterboxd this past week.
Yeah.
So I know you're in for that, but I don't know if that's for me. I'm not that into it. Okay. I'm bad at TV also. Like, as we've established, I am so poor about watching shows while they're still on TV. And then I'll like go and catch up really late afterwards.
Yeah.
Be like, where's everybody else who's a fan of this thing? They're like, we're all gone, girl. We watched it while it was on TV. We're not here anymore. Shoot.
That's so funny. All right, we're going to keep this show under an hour for the like third consecutive week. This is, I think, an all-time record for the show. So congratulations, we did it.
Congratulations, we did it. I believe it's tying a show record. I think we've had 3 before. I believe. I think we're tying a record. I could be wrong.
Darn it.
Well, because we certainly won't. Well, we might get there next week, but we certainly won't get there on our JV recap episode. That's certainly not happening. That's going to be over an hour.
Yeah. Get ready for the 3-hour edition of the 1 hour 1 brain cell podcast. Maybe
that's where we'll cut it for season 2. Like, okay, that's enough. We're taking a break.
This is the Avengers Endgame for us. Okay.
It is. It's the Snyder cut of 1 hour 1 brain cell.
All right, everybody. That's our show this week. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching the show. We appreciate you very much. The next time we talk to you will be after we see Julien, I think. I don't remember. I don't honestly at this point. Maybe not. Wait.
It depends if we record next weekend or not. Because if we record next weekend, then we'll have a buffer because we'll have one episode before.
Yeah, that's so true.
JB recap. But if we don't record next weekend, which I don't know, could happen. You never know. Then yes, we may take a week off. I don't know.
Stay tuned, everybody. Stay tuned.
Keep watching though, because we appreciate you and we see you watching all of our content on YouTube. Because you guys are crushing it out there. We got like, I don't know, we got double-digit views on like our last 3 things. So love
that. Follow us at OHOBC Pod on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And until next time, everybody, we bid you adieu.